Technology is always interesting. All right.
Okay. Are you in need of a vacation? Are you looking for somewhere warm, tropical, and maybe a little low-key? Well, I think we all are, and I might have the perfect destination for you. So Grenada is a small island country in the West Indies called the Spice of the Caribbean. It's located, you went too far, it's okay. You can go back one more. Okay. It's located in the Caribbean Sea, about 100 miles north of Venezuela, and it's 21 miles from top to bottom. It has a population of around 100,000 people, which makes it geographically the size of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but population-wise, it's about a tenth of that population. So for most people, Grenada is simply just a random island near Puerto Rico, but for me, it's the home of my brother, my sister-in-law, and my niece. So my brother lives in Grenada because he attends St. George's University, which is an undergraduate, as well as medical school and veterinary school, around right there where it says St. George's. So St. George's University opened in 1976, and it hosts over 8,000 students and over 1,000 professors from 140 different countries, including the US. And it's the largest source of doctors for the United States medical workforce. The reason, and it's also the reason why many US students, like my brother, have migrated to Grenada. St. George's University has an 8-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio, as well as an 84% graduation rate, which are both statistically high for medical schools. The only downside is they don't have a spring break. So this past week, me and my family went down to Grenada to visit my brother and his family. So many of the top vacation destinations on the island, so that is a picture of St. George's University.
That's beautiful.
Many of the top vacation destinations on the island are not the typical tourist attractions you might think of. Most of the recommended activities include waterfalls and other views that are tucked into the many mountains. But one of the more well-known ones is the Sculpture Garden, which Ben has clicked the slide to. And the unique thing about the Sculpture Garden is that it's completely underwater. The Sculpture Garden is home to 75 different sculptures, and they're scattered along the bottom floor of the ocean on the coast of Grenada. Now, these were designed in 2007 by British designer James Taylor and placed on the ocean floor by scuba divers in order to promote marine life and attract fish and other sea life to the area. But the bonus of this was that it also attracts a lot of tourists. So the Sculpture Garden is accessible only by boat and by snorkeling, or if you're really dangerous, you can try snorkeling down there. And of course, what any island is known for is its beaches, all of which are public and accessible to anyone. There are 45 beaches on the small island, but Grand Anse Beach, which is pictured here, is by far the most well-known and often regarded as the prettiest. The other thing Grenada is very well known for is its chocolate. So there are 5 chocolate factories on the island, and these are all known as tree-to-bar factories, which means they do everything from plant, harvest, temper, grind, and produce their own chocolate, and then they sell it right there on the property. So this are a couple pictures of the factory that I was able to visit in Grenada, which is called Belmont Estates. And it's located way up in the mountains of Grenada. The factory is over an hour drive from the capital of St. George's, even though it's only about 19 miles. And this is because of the many mountains that are on the island. And actually, as you can see here, this middle part is a rainforest, which there are no roads through, so you have to go around it. But all of the roads are built into the mountains, which makes for many sharp turns and blind turns. And one way that a lot of the locals combat this is by honking. So when you go around a turn that you can't see the other person, you can give a nice little toot to tell the person that's coming down the mountain that you're coming up and avoid a crash, hopefully. They also honk when they see a pedestrian that they know on the road just to say hi, or to, when they're passing someone, they will honk and that tells the person that they're coming around. So there were a few culture shocks when I was there. For example, for money, they use EC, which are Eastern Caribbean dollars, and $1 US is equal to 2.7 EC, which is pictured there. And the interesting thing about EC is that all of the prices seem a lot more. So for instance, when I went to a coffee shop, there were all of the prices on the big sign, and it said that a smoothie was $14, and it really freaked me out for a second. But then I realized that the prices were in EC, and it was only about $5 or $6 US, which is a lot more reasonable. The other thing that surprised me a lot was that in Grenada, they drive on the left side of the road, and this has a lot to do with the history of Grenada. And this is that it passed a few times between the hands of Britain and France until it was officially given to France in the Treaty of Versailles. But then in 1974, Grenada fought a revolutionary war and declared independence from Britain, which makes 2022 their 48th anniversary, which is something that's made extremely clear if you drive around because the number 48 is painted everywhere on streets and buildings in their national colors of red, yellow, and green to celebrate. So I hope that now Grenada is a little bit more to you than just some random Caribbean island, and I hope that if you're ever in the Caribbean, you know where to get some really good chocolate.